And we are recording.
All right. I would like to call to order the Cumberland County Library Board of Trustees. Our next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from Tuesday, January 19th, 2021. Do I have a motion to approve?
I so move.
We have a motion to approve, and I think we've had several seconds. Kristen,
Yes.
did you get who?
I got
You
one
need-
of yours.
Is there any discussion? If not, then all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is so moved. Thank you. We will go on to item 3, which is the financial report. And I'm going to turn that to James because I don't think Doug is with us today. So James,
And everyone should have received the financial reports in their packet or by separate email. During the reconciliation for February that I just received this week, there will be some changes that will be reflected on the next report. Nothing significant, and in all of our line items, we are well within average for our spending for this month.
all right. Does anybody have any questions for James? Okay. Then James, will you continue, please, with the library director and staff reports?
All right, very briefly, nothing remarkable since our last meeting. I did come down with COVID, so.
Oh, no.
Yeah, early February, or was it late January? It was like January 30th. Yeah, very late January, I tested positive.
Oh,
And,
no.
which threw me into a panic because we had the carpet project coming up in a couple of weeks. But so I was quarantined for 2 weeks, but the staff did a remarkable job getting prepared for the carpet project in my absence and keeping the library running. Kristen called me daily and said, everything's fine, don't need you. So, I got through that. No symptoms, just bored at home for 2 weeks. Once I got back, we finished up getting ready for our carpet project, which we closed the library for a solid month. We had a week to prepare, 2 weeks to have the carpet laid, and then a week to get everything back the way we wanted it prior to opening. The whole process went remarkably well. The carpet layers were excellent to work with. They did a fantastic job. Once they got an area laid, we were ready to move in right behind them and get things back into place. If you haven't had an opportunity to see the carpet in person yet, you can go to our website. There is a tab marked new carpet on our website, so you can see just a little bit of how well the carpet looks, and at least in our minds, we think it looks fantastic. We're very proud of the children's area. The change in colors and the pattern make it a lot more kid-friendly than it previously was, I believe. And really, that's all that I have to report at this time. Under new business, we'll be going over a few budget documents in which I need your approval to submit to Cumberland County. But that's all I have to report. I'll let Wayne, Kristen, and then Joyce give you any brief updates that they may have. I'll let you talk about the Red Cross. I forgot that.
Oh. Well, anyway, we have run a few projects. We're opening up a little bit to small groups like the UK Knit and the Stamp Club, nothing large. But besides having the AARP tax aid program going on. Last Friday, we participated with the American Red Cross in a blood drive here at the library. And they had 33 donors, which was, I think, fantastic. The only unusual thing is they collected 34 units of blood with 33 donors, so we can't figure that one out, but that's okay. We are going to have another blood drive on the 26th and on April 9th, I believe it is. So this is something that we're doing. Also, we have the children's art from the schools. That didn't stop us. That's hanging. Susan Pugh from the Art and Frame Shop framed all the senior art. So that art is in the foyer and can be voted on. And some of it, most of the art is fantastic. These kids, I can't believe what they've done, given all that they've been under this year. So you got to stop in and see that. And so that's hanging through the March and April. We're also going to be hosting a new book club. We're not running it. It is the Upper Cumberland Diversity Advocates, which have had diversity programs going on here in the library. Black History Month, they're going to do one for Native Americans and several other things. And they're based out of Fairfield Lake, but they want to get the whole community involved. So they are running a lot of their things here at the library, and we're assisting with that. So, and they're going to start a new book club. And we are going to have a concert in June. Most of the concert the programs that we have, nobody's been practicing, but the swing band, the Cumberland Swing Band has been, and we are going to have an amphitheater program on June 2nd. And Terry Utzi is the vocalist with the swing band. And anytime we've had him here in the library, we have people dancing in the aisles and out in the hallways. So we're looking forward to that because people need these types of things to go to. So we're doing that on June 2nd. And that's about all I have to say at this moment.
They've covered pretty much anything that I would have talked about, so I'll turn it back over to you guys.
And after Joyce, I just have a few more comments to make and then we can move on.
Okay, we've been sort of partnering with the Military Museum. As you know, they're getting cranked up with a new board, and they're infusing new blood into the museum. The library has generously offered to catalog the many hundreds of books they've got, and they're storing them here until they can get some work done on the building. They're going to put a display up in the archives of a few artifacts. They've come over and looked at the cabinet that they're going to use so that we can start promoting the fact that the Military Museum is being kind of renovated and things are going on over there. As far as the archives go, I've got an appointment Thursday with the architect and the shelving people about the vault. We've got a lot of, there's been a lot of input about that. They call me and this kind of thing. So we're working to get everything in order for having to move. I've got to get the maintenance back working on the building. We're going to have Thursday, the people that are going to come in and take out the lead and the asbestos before they can start construction are lined up to come in and start their planning. So things are really moving along on that, subject. We don't have a date yet when things are going to start gelling, but we're very close to getting things all lined up. So we're really excited over here about that happening. So any questions about either one of those? We've been open, we've had patrons in, we haven't had the volume that we're accustomed to having, but I figure come summer when people start traveling, we'll probably really pick up.
Gotten a lot of good press. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Doing a great job.
Definitely.
Okay, just a few comments, and these are just kind of FYIs, or in case you get any questions from the community. Pre-pandemic, we had, of course, 2 study rooms available for public use. During the pandemic, we transitioned 1 study room next to the children's library into an office for the children's library assistant. So that will now be a permanent office for that individual, and we will lose the use of that room as a study room. There is a study room that is next to my office. We currently are continuing to have that as a study room use, but whereas it was bookable in the past, it is now more of a first come, first served basis on a daily basis, no pre-booking. Whether it will stay a study room, the future will tell. It may be that I'll have to have it as a storage area. With the archives project looming hopefully within the next several months, all of our storage material that we have across the street has to go somewhere. And I will be looking for any nook and cranny that I can find to house our storage until the project across the street is finished and we're ready to move our storage back. Once the project begins, we hope the timeline is around 14 months. So we don't know if that's part of tearing down what needs to be torn down and then rebuilding what needs to be built. But we're hoping that the overall project is a 14-month projection. So just to make you aware that the study room in the library has changed drastically, in case you get any comments or anybody wants to know, well, why. It's just a necessity at this point. And we don't have enough staffing really to just manage all of that. So it's one's gone permanently because we needed the room for permanent staff, and the second one is definitely first come, first serve. Wayne mentioned that we do have an upcoming concert, which will be held at the amphitheater. We have started having questions about programming within the library. At this time, I have no significant plans for any significant programming inside the library. That timeline is very wide open. We will not let down our guard just because the numbers are looking good. We will be very cautious in our programming and the number of people attending. The last thing I want to do is police a program, telling everybody they have to be so far apart, making sure they're so far apart, and all of that. So we may or may not have any significant program in the next several months, or it may be early spring of next year when hopefully a lot of this has died down. And
May I say something as a person who conducts programs? I would like to know if it is feasible with library policy for me to set the guidelines for who I let in my programs. I'll tell you where I'm coming from. In order to teach a class in the Plateau Conference Room, which is their boardroom, I'm going to request that everybody who signs up for my class be vaccinated and they all wear masks. That is my personal, that's my personal preference. To be quite honest, if I can't do that, I won't have class.
And Janine might can help me out, but I myself as the instructor for the class, I think you're well within your rights to set a limit on the attendance requests. So yes, I believe you can say you have to be vaccinated, you have to wear masks, and I would only say we would have to look at the attendance limitation. Whereas you might have fit 10 or 12 in here
Right.
pre-pandemic, you might get, 6 spaced out. So
Right.
we could look at those options too. I myself have no problem with that.
May I
Okay.
interject? The requiring a vaccination might be a sticky legal point, and it might open a can of worms because technically they cannot make anybody have the shot. So, you have to be careful with that in legal terms. They could say prejudice and all this kind of stuff. So I would be careful with that one.
And that is true, but that is something we can bounce up through the state line. We can also check with our county attorney with that as well.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, James, it's not something that I can answer. And Matt is out of town, which is why I'm here. Matt might be able to answer that, but
We
it would
wouldn't-
be, I
yeah.
was thinking you could certainly run it through your county attorney.
Yeah.
I honestly think that's a good plan. I do.
What kind of class is this?
I'm sorry, Bob.
What kind of class is this?
It's an iPad, iPhone instruction class.
Is it in any way connected with the library or the county?
It would be hosted here at the library. We do, they sign up through the library, and we do consider it a library-sponsored program or class.
Then you're gonna have to get the county to approve all that.
Yeah.
If the county does not require a vaccination, I don't believe you can require a vaccination.
So that might be something we'll have to look into, Kay, but something we'll definitely look into before we make any requirements like that.
Okay.
If this was an independent class, like a guitar lesson or something like that, then you could set your own boundaries. But if it's related to the county in any way, I think you have to follow the county guidelines.
Yeah, so that's where we might have to tread lightly, but yeah, we'll definitely look into that before we start scheduling. Any other questions for me on anything at this point? Melanie?
Okay. All right, hearing no more discussion, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is the Regional Library Director's Report. We're glad to have you, Jeannie.
Good,
And
thank you so much. I'm glad to see everybody. It's about the only time I get to do this. There's just a couple of things. First of all, we want everybody to know that the state library is having their grand opening on April 12th. April the 12th. I don't know exactly how they're going to, have it arranged, whereas how many people can go in at a certain time and that kind of thing. But right now it is scheduled for April the 12th. And upcoming, we are really hoping September 28th that we can do the trustees workshop. We've got that tentatively scheduled, and we really hope we can be doing something in person, but we won't know till we get there.
That was the 28th?
Yes, the 28th of September.
And that would be for our site, like in past times?
Yes, it
Okay.
would be. It would be. That's correct. But we're just going to have to see at that point.
Mhm.
We really are. We just don't know.
I
Now, unfortunately, I neglected to send my little report and the attachment to you all, but I just sent it to you all and James too, as a reply to when he sent this one. But the biggest thing is, I don't know if you all remember, but before the regional libraries were part of the state, and I want to say that was maybe 5 to 8 years ago, the regional library boards had policy-making power. You know, they made decisions and dealt with a budget and a lot of different things. But when the regions became part of the state, the regional library board just no longer had that. And it became almost, you know, an advisory kind of a board. But the legislature in January has put forth some legislation that would kind of transition those regional boards more into something that would be more of like the trustee chair training or something more along those lines of information and education. So that, and in what I just emailed you all, it shows you where you can go to look at these bills that have been filed. But it looks as if they eliminate the regional boards, it would happen, I believe, in late 2022. Yes, in July of 2022. And I think it would transition into more of a training type of an aspect, where there would be opportunities for budgeting, building relations with commissioners, Robert's Rules of Order, that kind of thing is what we're thinking. But that is what's happening right now. And as to what will ultimately happen, I really don't know. And in fact, with our regional board, I think there are 3 counties that don't participate at all. There's not even any regional representatives. But that is pretty much my report.
Okay, are there any questions?
Which 3 don't come?
Van Buren, White, and is it Smith? I think Smith County.
Well, thank you for the report, and we'll all look forward to reading what you have emailed to us.
Yeah.
I will look forward to reading all that.
Thank you.
Well,
It
thank
should
you.
be in your inbox now, hopefully.
All right, thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Our next item on the agenda is the Library Foundation. James, is there any report from the foundation?
Ms. Chamberlain could not attend either virtually or in person, and she did not have any report to make, really not a whole lot of action there. They held their fundraiser in late December as normal. The only thing that we have going with the foundation at the moment, which we voted upon at our last meeting, was transitioning the Tennessee Reading Room upstairs to the Diane Dorton Brown Reading Room. That is in process, and the lettering has been ordered and will be installed when available. But that's the only report we have from the foundation.
Okay, well, thank you for keeping us updated on that. The next item is item number 7, Friends of the Art Circle Public Library Report. Do we have anybody representing that?
And I
Today?
certainly hope Alta got the messages, but I do not know. Bob may be able to help us. He's on that board.
Yes.
Okay,
Let me just quickly run over a couple things. We did have a Zoom board meeting on the 23rd of last month. So that was our first board meeting in quite a while. That worked out pretty good. We, the major item we talked about was the book sale. As you know, last year we didn't do any book sales. What we had last October, though, was a book clearance sale. And it turns out that worked out better than a book sale.
Oh,
So we're going to pull together another clearance sale on April 16th through the 24th.
what is that, Bob? How did you all do it? What's a clearance sale?
Well, instead of taking the big room and laying out all the books and having people come through and drop them in their bag and pay for the books, what we do is just have a half off price sale at the bookstore itself.
Uh-huh.
So they just come in whenever they want to
Okay,
over a period of time, anytime the library is open, and pick up any of the books that are on the shelf, and they're all half price.
wow, okay.
We have,
Bob works on an honor system, and we even set up a few extra tables during
That's-
that time. so
That's
that
what I
we
was
could-
gonna say.
we
So
could
more,
sell additional books during the
Mm-hmm.
clearance sale.
and
Wow,
we have
that's great.
volunteers, we have volunteers that daily go in and restock out of what would have been our book sale books.
Mhm.
Just keep those shelves stocked. I think we had it for almost a month last
Mhm.
October, didn't we?
It was
3 weeks.
October, it was a month long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow,
So we're gonna do April 16th through the 24th, which gets us about a good week, I think.
Mhm.
And we're gonna try that again. That keeps the COVID restrictions to a minimum. It's whatever the library is running under at that point in time. And so that said, we need volunteers on a daily basis for setup, replenishment of items, and emptying the money box on a daily basis. Well, the other thing that we talked about, and I believe we're going to start doing, is on our newsletter. Currently, on the monthly newsletter to all the members, we have a bio for one of the library staff or someone that is related to the library. I think Kristen was in there last month, weren't you?
Mhm,
I believe so.
yes.
And so in addition to doing that in the newsletter, we're going to try doing a book review also.
oh,
A
cool.
short book review in each newsletter. So I think in the next month or two, you're going to see that start.
Janine, do you or Matt, either one may get our friends newsletter?
Well, we used to get them at the regional meetings, but we haven't, they've all been virtual, but they're online, aren't they?
No, I don't think so. Bob, as a compliment to the region, we might want to add their emails to the email distribution list.
Oh, that'd be nice. I love it.
Yeah.
It's got such good things on it.
Um,
Can you share my email and Matt's email with him?
let me give you an email address that you could send an email
Okay,
address that you want it to come to.
sure.
Yeah, and Janine, I can handle that. Bob can tell me who to send the request to.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, James.
Okay.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah. Our next meeting, we're going to try Zooming again. Will be next Tuesday, the 23rd. So we've got a relatively small agenda for that one. So we're running on the cheap. We don't pay for the Zoom. We're running the free version, which only allows us 40 minutes. So we've cut our agendas down quite a bit. The only other thing I can think of is we're sending a reminder letter out to the memberships that we had last year who have not renewed for this year. We're sending out a reminder letter to them. I think that's about it.
Any questions more for Bob? Well, we'll certainly look forward to coming in and seeing what's for sale during April. That'll be fun to come and
Yeah.
see.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm sorry, James, on your agenda, put Alta's name on there instead of Schwartz.
Oh, yes.
Although I've done it the last 2 months, so, but that's all right.
well, I saw that and I wondered, but I thought,
I
well,
just figured Bob was doing it.
me too. That's what I was thinking.
Well,
All
I know
right.
Alta joined us at our last meeting.
Yes, she
but
did.
I hope she got the notices for this meeting, but I don't know.
She was under the weather.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you, Bob, for reporting for us
Sure.
and letting us know what is going on with the Friends group. Our next item is committee reports. And I think that is nominating that had report.
We have a slate of new board members that we're recommending to come on in June.
July.
July,
It'll
excuse
be
me.
July. Yes.
Debbie Douglas is going to come back for a second term. Yay, appreciate that.
Yay.
Kay Randolph is coming off of the regional board. And we discovered that, we have the term limits built in, but discovered that if you're on the regional board, you can come back to the local board for an additional term.
For a
So-
first term.
For what?
For a first term.
For a first term. So I will be glad to do that. I don't have a problem with that at all. And Melanie Sherrill has agreed to become the regional board member for
Great
Art
slate.
Circle. So that's the slate. It has been voted on. We had to do email or phone confirmation with all the nominating committee members. So that's what our report is. That's our slate for next year.
All right. So you have heard the members that are on the slate to be presented to the county commission. I will need you to give me a motion to approve. Do I have, Kathy has approved a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Joe has given us a second. All in favor?
Who's going to be the regional?
I'm sorry,
Who's going to be the regional out of this?
Melanie.
me,
Okay.
me. Any questions? We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All right, then we will vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is so moved. So James, that is ready to go then, I guess, at the next commission meeting
No, what you approved was
to present it?
a plan of action. You've approved the candidacy. In May, I will have the resolution.
Okay.
No, let's not do that. I have the resolution ready. The wording reflects what you voted on today, that Debbie Douglas serve a second term of 3 years, that Kay Randolph serve a first term of 3 years on the local board, and that Melanie Sherrill serve a first term of 3 years on the regional board. I would need a motion and a second and approval by the board to submit that resolution to the county for approval to take effect in July.
I'll move.
Moves, Kathy seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There is none, so it is so moved, James.
I plan for the wording in the resolution is that it be submitted in May. So I will submit it to the county commission for its meeting in May.
Okay, in May. All right, thank you. Thank you, Kay, and the nominating committee for your work on that. And our next item is unfinished business. I don't think we had any unfinished. Did we, James?
No unfinished business that I'm aware of.
Okay, new business. I think that's where you wanted to speak to us about the budget, the new budget year.
Yes, under new business, we have a new fiscal budget plan to approve and submit to the county. I do not know if any of you were able to check your email prior to this meeting, but I did send you the budget documents that I have prepared for submission. There is I plan on no significant changes in our budget request. The changes that I'm proposing is a little bit of increase in our communications line item and a $10,000 increase in our book budget line item to assist with the cost of digital download material through Reads. Early in this fiscal year, when we were experiencing the pandemic, I got a little happy with the book budget and buying digital material. And so I had to kind of hold off on a lot of ordering for a few months to bring that line item back into place. But we are where we need to be right now with the book budget. But I think the request for an increase in book money is justified. Not only has publisher costs increased over the last 2 years, which we've not increased any money in 2 years, but digital downloads was not very well budgeted for in our last 2 fiscals. So this year I'd like to target some specific funding for those purchases. And our digital download system checkouts do very well. So I think it's well worth the funds appropriated.
I think the statistical data that we get through the region supports that it's a very widely used area from our patrons here in Cumberland County for ebooks.
You're
So
not.
last year's fiscal budget was $808,137. This year's request is so far $8,108,807. Let's see, $818,807. That does not include what the county may recommend in any kind of cost of living increases. That is just our current basic budget.
Well, they usually always have you leave those line items empty.
They leave the line item at the previous fiscal year until they make their decision later in the budget process.
Right.
So as I said, no significant changes in our basic operating budget. So I don't think we should have to fight for a whole lot. It's not much of an increase from 2 years when we've had no increase. The capital request only has currently one line item. We are in desperate need of a new video surveillance system. You've not been in my office lately, but of the 25 cameras, there might be 2 or 3 that I can see pretty good. So yeah, we're in desperate need of a new video surveillance. This year, we're requesting no additional personnel, and that's all I can think of. Archives budgeting is the same. We're just requesting what we had from last year, pending their proposed reconstruction. We at this point cannot anticipate their budgetary needs. We functioned very well the past fiscal year with what they have in their line items. We see no reason to change at this point. The only capital request is a continuation of our computer rotation maintenance plan. So we're asking for 3 computers there. Is there anything I'm missing, Joyce?
No,
Joyce?
we're just kind of hanging on here until we get the construction done.
Yeah, and once we get the construction done, then we may be able to anticipate what needs they'll have and adjust the budget requests accordingly. That's all I have on the budget matter. I do request a motion and a second and approval by the board to submit those documents to the county commission for their consideration. They have asked for a 5-year capital plan, which I will be working on for submission within the next 2 weeks. If anyone has any capital project ideas they would like to pass to me, please do. We are looking at possibly painting the inside of the facility. That may be a multi-year plan, but it's still one that we plan on doing. We also are looking at resealing the parking lots in our capital plan for the future. But any other ideas on capital projects, large ticket item projects you may have, please bring those to my attention. That's all I have to say at the budget.
How about a digital sign out front?
Thinking the same thing, Bob. Is this a good?
That would be fantastic. We have looked at those options in years past. The cost was
About 23,000.
Yeah, we were in the 20,000 range for a decent digital sign.
You were asking for high ticket numbers.
Well, that's a high ticket number. We'll have to really put forward a fantastic argument as to why we need that big of a ticket item. So, but yeah, that has been explored in the past as even a partnership program between the Friends, the foundation, maybe some county funding, and that would be fantastic. That would be really great. But we've got a lot of building work that needs to be done too. So.
Well, I know the Friends has looked at it, and it was way too costly for the Friends to do. But you might get the 3 organizations together.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we did, but there is something to look at as a partnership program between 3 or 4 of the entities to reduce the funding burden on each.
Right.
Okay, any other comments on the budget? So James, I think I heard you say that you would like to have a motion to have the,
I so move.
state the motion again and how you wanted that stated.
To submit the 21-22 budget request to the Cumberland County Budget Committee.
All right, we have a motion to submit our budget for the 21-22 fiscal year to the county commission. And is there a motion to do that?
I so
Kathy
move.
made the motion.
Kathy has made that. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Debbie made
Joe?
the second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It is so moved. Thank you, James, and to all. Let's see, is there any other new business to discuss?
I do not have anything. I don't have anything written down in my notes.
Okay, and then the next item is announcements. And I think our next meeting is scheduled for May 18th because we meet bi-monthly on the third Tuesday of each month. And with numbers improving, I think we're going to try to have a meeting in the Cumberland room, which is a large area for us. It also has a door that we can open to have ventilation. And so our next meeting will move from Zoom to in person. And that is May 18th at 1:30. Okay, did everybody get that? Yes, ma'am, Kathy?
At the last meeting, we discussed updating our procedures, our handbook. Will we be doing that maybe?
We're
at
going to
that
be
meeting?
talking about policy in person. Yes,
Policy.
definitely on
Right.
that. It's
And-
just easier to do when we are in person. So that's
Yes.
why we're calling that meeting then, and items like that to be discussed at that time.
and if
James, I'm
I-
sorry, did you have something?
Yeah, and if I can, in the meantime, I will update the proposals that we prepared a year ago for work. Get them
Yes.
to all members, and then maybe we can discuss and take action at the May meeting in person. We were looking at revising the whole 300 section, the whole operating
Mhm.
policy. So hopefully we can do that at the May meeting because they are in desperate need of review and updating. I think everything I have has already been vetted by the county attorney.
Good.
But I need to review all of the documents again to make sure that there are no additional suggestions that need to be made or there's not any new policy that we need to look at. So hopefully by the next meeting, in plenty of time, you will all be getting large packets of reading material.
Yes, and I've already had James reserve the big room for us on that in anticipation of doing our next meeting live. Okay, if there are no other announcements,
We need to get the contact list for the board updated also.
Okay, I'll try to get that out to everybody. Yeah.
anything else? Well, then I guess we need a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
A second, Bob, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Huh?
They even had beat Harry.
All right. Any opposed? I don't think that will be the case, but I will ask. All right. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. And I will see everyone in May. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Talk to y'all soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.